Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for coming out this morning. My name is Victoria Johnson, and I am with Victoria Johnson Coaching and Training Academy. And one of the big things that we do is training for the Heal Your Life work, which you just heard announced. I'm very fortunate to be the trainer for Canada for Heal Your Life coaches and workshop teachers as well. And it's something that is probably one of the most, if not one of the most gratifying thing in my life, and I really appreciate having that honor. I wanted to let you know that I do have a special going on right now for a workshop I'm bringing to Calgary at the end of September, and it is a one-day workshop managing conflict and dealing with difficult people, if anybody has any difficult people in their life. And my show special for this is 2 for 1, which is super fabulous, so you can pop by my booth later and let me know what you would like to do with that. As well as on the back of my postcard is the upcoming training dates for the Heal Your Life Workshop Teacher and Advanced Coach Training. So, on to the matter at hand, talking about money. Money's one of those things, everybody wants money, right? But people don't want to say, I want money. And when we think about it, it takes money to do everything that we do. It took money to wake up in our house or apartment or condo this morning. It took money to get here. You probably have some breakfast in your belly or a Starbucks or something. That took money. Walking around the show, getting into the show, maybe purchasing things at the different booths, all of that takes money. So so money does make the world go round, and we do need money. And why not be in a position where we have a friendly relationship with money and have more money so that it doesn't stress us out? So, I'm going to move on to the big question, which is, who is Victoria Johnson and who does she think she is standing here on the stage talking to us about money? And trust me, I've asked myself that question too. You know, we do things and then we have those little voices in our head, those little things of doubt that sprout up here and there. And so I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story really quickly. So about 3 years ago, I made the decision to sell a business that I had in Victoria that was a job I absolutely loved to do, and I had 5 or 6 people working for me, and my day went like this. I would wake up in the morning, eyes still closed, and be like, oh my God, I hope no checks bounced overnight. And then I'd be like, okay, how many more days till payroll? And if this goes in there and that goes in there and I move this from there, I should be fine, right? And then when I had enough courage, I'd open my eyes, reach over, grab my phone or my laptop, and I would look up and be like, whew, I'm not overdrawn on my overdraft. Thank goodness, right? And then I would go do a job I loved for 10, 12 hours and then go home and repeat the process. So I was getting this intuitive hit that I needed to make a change, and I knew I needed to go care for my father. So I took the leap of faith, sold that business, moved back to Alberta to care for my father. And while I was doing that, I had an opportunity to purchase another business. And I had zero money. And the opportunity just kept showing up. And I'm like, why is this showing up in my life, right? Like, why does it keep appearing? And so I talked to my dad, who at the time was 88 years old or so he had lived through the Great Depression of the 1930s, and his motto was save, save, save your money for a rainy day. And I'd say, Dad, there's this business opportunity. It's not a field I'm experienced in. It just keeps showing up. I don't know, what should I do? And my dad, being a Christian man, quoted a scripture to me that said, I know the plans I have for you, plans to protect you, plans to prosper you, plans to keep you from harm. And he's like, Victoria, you're doing the right thing by taking care of me, so everything else will be taken care of. Buy the business. And I'm looking at him like, who are you? Right? Telling me to go ahead and buy the business. And then I went back to the clinic, and I said to the lady, can you just give me more information? And at that time, I noticed a tattoo on her wrist. And I said, oh, what does your tattoo say? And she says, oh, it's a scripture. It says, I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you, plans to keep you safe, plans to keep you from harm. I'm like, okay, I get it. So I knew in that moment I had to figure out some money. So my big strategy was to write a proposal to the person selling the business. So here's my proposal. I have zero money, so you're going to need to finance the entire thing. at 0% interest. Oh yeah, and I'm not making any payments for a few months until I've produced some income. And, and then I just said to my dad, if he says yes, it was meant to be. And you know the end of the story, that he said yes. And where I'm going with all of this is determination, right? Following through, listening to my intuition, creating momentum, all of this to create a brighter future for myself, because I was in that situation where I knew that I needed to. And I'm super thankful for my dad for pushing me to do that, because I literally went from zero money to, for the last 2 years, being able to make multiple six-figure income. So huge difference. Huge shout out to my dad, who, by the way, passed away 1 year ago today, so I know he's hanging out with us today. So that's who I am, and I want to say I got there through dealing with the stuff that floats around in between my ears every day, and that's what we're going to talk about today, is mastering that inner game. So negative thoughts and beliefs. When you were growing up, or maybe even now, there's these negative thoughts and beliefs that roll around in our heads, other people say to us, we hear just in casual conversation. You know, we can be talking to our friends, oh, I can't afford vacation, I can't afford to do that. Money doesn't grow on trees, you know. Every time I get a little bit of money saved, something comes up. I need a new furnace, I need new tires for my car. Things like that all the time coming up when we have this money. So then we just feel like it's just never going to change. I'm just caught in this vicious cycle of never having enough money. And you know what the subconscious mind hears? I never have enough money. I never have enough money. There's not enough money. When you get money, don't bother being excited about it, because it's just going to go anyways. So what if we could reprogram our subconscious thinking purposefully by using positive affirmations? So I love this quote, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And many great teachers have said that in different ways. I know Einstein has said something very similar. Dr. Wayne Dyer is someone who I hugely admired, and I do have his book at my booth, When You Change the Way You Look at Things, the Things You Look At Change. Great book. So what if instead we were like, oh, money just flows to me. You know, when you're doing the right thing, money just comes to you. I have said that so many times when I was taking care of my dad and not appearing to be bringing any money, but it was showing up, right? Because I was doing the right thing. So money buys me freedom, money buys me choices. What if I think that rich people are awesome, right? They're awesome, they're super friendly, they're making a difference. And what if I have a savings plan and a spending plan? So money's not so scary anymore, right? I can save my money, but I can also spend my money doing things that I love. And what about if we love what we do and we know that people are happy to pay us well to do it? So often, I think especially for us who are self-employed, we think, oh goodness, you know, it's just me. Who's going to pay me $40, $50, $100, $150 for my services? There are people out there who value what it is that you have. And I've found that it doesn't matter how much you charge, there's always going to be people who can afford it. It doesn't matter how little you charge, there's always going to be people who say they can't afford it. Right? So you just need to honor who you are. And that was one of the great things that buying this business did for me. The package that I sell is a 1-hour package. I charge $350 for it. And people don't care. They pay it. They're happy to pay it. And so because of that, it broke through my belief barrier that people wouldn't pay me $350 an hour. Right? So that's what we need to talk about today with you, is breaking through those belief barriers that when you're in your passion and when you're doing what you love to do, you have a unique service to offer to the world, and people will pay you well to do it. No matter if it's full-time or part-time or for someone else, whatever it is, that money is drawn to you energetically. So I do love a couple of them on here I want to touch base on. So you know how people say, oh, she's all about the money, or oh, he's all about the money. What if we said, yeah, baby, I am all about the money, bring it, and just celebrate that instead of being ashamed of it. And you know, I check my audience and make sure there's no children, and there is one here, but I'm pretty sure is it a boy? He's not listening, so I'm going to say it's kind of like sex. You know, we all want to have lots of good sex, but we don't want to admit it. And we all want to have lots of good money, but we don't want to admit it. So the same principle applies. Keeping in mind that we can afford anything. And when I say that, that might sound a little false. So let me just shift those words for you a little bit. You may not be able to afford everything, but you can afford anything, right? Just putting your mind in that space that if there is something that you really want, you can make it happen. So an example I'm going to use will be something like taking the kids to Disneyland, right? So say you've got 5 little ones and you want to take them to Disneyland. You can make that happen, and I'm going to work through a little bit of a plan using that as an example by breaking it down and so on and so forth and just getting in that mind space. But knowing, instead of saying, oh, I'd love to take the kids to Disneyland, I can afford anything. So I can afford to take the kids to Disneyland. I'm just going to work it out. And so also another one I really love and would encourage you to put on your fridge is money comes to me from expected and unexpected sources. How many of you have had that experience that when you need $400 to pay a bill and you have no idea where it's going to come from, it just kind of shows up on the day you need it and you're like, oh, thank goodness. Yes, that's happened to me too. I had it happen actually a couple of years ago. I had made an insurance claim and I really needed some money and I needed it that day, and I checked the mail and I got my deductible back from my insurance company. And I'm like, I don't understand, but okay, thank you, right? It just shows up. So also going back into that negative messaging that we received, a lot of our parents' beliefs and so on. Do you remember being told, you better watch your mouth, young lady, in my case, you better watch your mouth, young lady. And I come from a generation where we literally did get our mouths washed out with soap. I don't think they let people do that anymore. But I'm going to take it one step further and say, what about your thoughts? You better watch your thoughts. You better watch your actions. And just staying in that place of gratitude and abundance. And when we lay in bed and we think things like, oh God, I'm so broke, or maybe it's something else. Maybe I'm so unhealthy, or my relationships never work. All of those thoughts, so powerful. So what if we just found a way to catch ourselves? That's the first step. Catch ourselves in those thoughts, and then just do this shift, bringing it over to, all my relationships work out for the best for me. And when you look back, that's true, right? It does work out for the best for you. And money does flow to me. And I'm healthier every single day because I lovingly nourish my body. Don't those thoughts feel so much better? And your subconscious mind learns how to believe those. And so when we talk about words like should and could, the subconscious mind picks those up as well. So for example, should's going to make you wrong. It's going to make somebody else wrong, or you're going to be wrong in the future. That's the whole should game there. I'll give you an example. I'm 52 now. When I was 50, I remember thinking I should have more money in the bank. I really should. Like, I am a grown-up now. When you're 50, you have to admit it. I am a grown-up now. So I should have more money in the bank. And then when I flip that over to, well, I could have more money in the bank. I could. So why don't you? Well, I don't, because I choose to spend my money doing things and activities and taking my family places and having fun and experiences. That's my core value, right? I enjoy that. So then I can let go of that being wrong and blaming myself, that should, when I just flip it into could. And we can do the same with never and always, like I'm never going to get ahead, I'm never going to have enough money for vacation, I'm never going to be able to afford a down payment. And switching that over to the always side of that, where money always shows up for me, I always find a way. I'm here, I'm sitting here today, so obviously I've survived all of my financial situations to this point in life. And then the but and the and. And no offense to the guys, but I find this especially true for women. I'd love to have a great career, but I need to stay home and raise my children. But what about if we did and? I want to have a great career, and I want to stay home and raise my children, and I want to work out a situation where my children are lovingly cared for and I don't have to have any guilt or any issues around that. So changing that either or, that but, into an and situation. And I just love this guy because he always has bad hair and makes me feel better about mine. Money is energy. So I'm going to read you the quote. Everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy. This is physics. So I'm going to give you a couple of little examples on this because I really want you to understand that money is energy. And when you raise your vibration about money, the money is attracted to you. So if you'll bear with me, let's do a little experiment here. And some of it might feel a little bit uncomfortable, but I promise it'll only be for a couple of seconds. So first of all, you can eyes open or eyes closed, doesn't matter to me. Just picture on your kitchen table, your kitchen table is completely bare, but there's a $100 bill laying on your kitchen table. So you got that $100 bill in a card from your aunt. And it's so sweet. You know, she doesn't have a lot, but she really wants to take care of you. So she sent you that $100 bill just to say she loves you. Oh, I'm just so thankful. So I'm going to take that $100 bill and I'm going to go spend it on something for myself, something special. And then I'm going to call Auntie and I'm going to tell Auntie what I did with the $100. Oh, it feels so warm and fuzzy. So now, staying in that mindset, we're going to look at that $100 bill again, but we're going to look at it in a different way. So say you had a rip-roaring party at your house and somebody left their purse just laying open, a bunch of cash hanging out, and you don't know what you were thinking. You'd had a couple glasses of wine and you just walked by and you were like, it's just laying there, I'm going to take it. Instead of saying, is this your money? Right? You just took the $100 bill, now it's laying on your table. You feel sick inside. You have so much guilt. You can't believe you did that. That's that same $100 bill, right? And then let's think about one more situation that feels better, I promise. So you have this job you love, and you get to go in and do the things that you're passionate about doing and interacting with people and making a difference and just really having a great day, and you can't wipe the grin off your face. And to top it all off, at the end of the day, they gave you that $100 bill. So now that's that $100 bill laying on your table. So one more scenario. Oh my God, I hate my job. That stupid job. I wake up in the morning, I look in the mirror, and I'm like, okay, I am not gonna let anybody make me mad today. I am just gonna do my own thing, nobody's gonna bug me, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut, head down, make my money, and get out. Sure enough, by 9:30, somebody's made me mad, right? So finally, end of the day, I get my $100 bill, come home, put it on the table. Okay, feel that feeling. So when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Now, in each situation, we had the same $100 bill. We went through 4 different feelings about that $100 bill, right? The sense of accomplishment and pride from doing a job you love, the from doing the job you hate, the guilt of taking money that didn't belong to you, and the warm and fuzzy of getting it as a gift. Same $100 bill, money is energy. Does that make sense? Another way to explain it is to talk about, say you think about a friend you haven't seen in years, and 2 days later you get a Facebook request, a friend request from them, right? Or you see them on the street or run into them in the mall. Has this happened to anybody? Or maybe there's a new product out on the market and everywhere you look now you see it, right? Or a particular type of shoes or whatever, or a sequence of numbers. So all of that is energy, and that which is like unto itself is drawn. So the money energy is drawn to the money, the people energy is drawn to the people, the same pair of shoes you keep saying, the same thing. So keeping that in mind with money. Money is energy. So next we want to talk about what is your money energy. Ooh, it gets personal now. So what is your money energy? My biggest fear about money is, think about the end of that sentence in your mind. My biggest fear about money is. And then think about what you learned about money from your past or from your childhood. What were your parents' beliefs about money? Did you need to make sure that little things like you ate everything on your plate because there's starving children in Africa? Was that part of the poverty thinking that you were raised with? Or were you raised with, oh, it's just money, we'll make more. Let's do it, let's spend it, let's go. Think about that. And think about how finances were handled in your family when you were growing up. Sometimes if there's 2 parents in the home, you'll have a spender and a saver, and that can have conflict. Sometimes that conflict is behind closed doors. Sometimes that conflict is at the dinner table. That really helps with the digestion, right? So think about how that was handled in your family, and then transfer it to how do you think about money now? Is money your friend? Is money something that you can count on? When you're working with money that way, and thinking about if money is your friend or if money is something that you can count on, a good way to go deeper with that is to write a letter to money. And this can be a really fun, enlightening exercise because it's something I can pretty much guarantee people haven't done. Has anybody here ever written a letter to money? No, I hadn't either, but here's how mine went, something like this. Dear money, I can't count on you. Whenever I need you, really, really need you, you're not there for me. You know, at times when I'm being frivolous or want to do something fun, sure, then you show up, right? You're there for the good times. You're not there for the bad times. You've left me alone so many times, and I've been deeply hurt by it. So that's just an example, right, of your letter to money. Maybe your letter to money will be much more cheerful than that. But that's how I felt and needed to shift that relationship with money. So please let me encourage you to do that, to write your letter to money. You know, obviously we're not going to show it to anybody else unless you choose to, but really make it personal and really get in there. And think about what your payoffs for being broke are, right? So, or telling yourself you're broke, right? Oh, I can't do that. I can't afford that. Think about what the payoff is. Do you get to be a victim? Sometimes it's kind of fun to be a victim. Oh, I'd love to go with all my friends to Banff next weekend, but I can't because I'm too broke. Poor me. I think I'll sit at home with my big bowl of popcorn and Netflix, right? So thinking about what the payoff is. There's 4 F words that I want to point out to you: fear, focus, faith, fortune. So learning to let go of the fear, focusing on what it is that you want, having the faith that your fortune will show up. And it's something that needs to be practiced every day and continuous. So think about what you would like to change about your money consciousness. Do you feel worthy of having it and enjoying it? Or do you feel like you need to spend it right away when you get it? Rewrite your biggest fear that we thought about a few minutes ago into an affirmation. So if your biggest fear was, I never have enough money, I always have more than enough money for what I need. My inflow of money is always greater than my outflow. Just rewriting it and doing it the one time, probably not going to do it for you. So I would encourage you to every single day be repeating that affirmation about money, overcoming your biggest fear about money. And to take it a step further, let's attach some emotion. So let's go back to Disneyland. So we've got those 5 little kids, and we're going to take them to Disneyland. Figure out specifically how much you need. Keep in mind, hot dogs are like $20 each, right? So figure out exactly what you need to go to Disneyland and take those 5 kids. How much are the tickets, the flights, the food, all of that. Get yourself a number, and then start your visualizing. Know that you have that money in the bank, or however it is that you're going to get that money, just visualizing it there. Visualizing standing in the hot sun in a lineup for an hour and a half, waiting for the ride that's 2 minutes long because it's what the kids want and it's going to make your heart happy. Visualize holding little Johnny's sticky hand from the ice cream. All of those things. Watch their faces as they zip by on whatever ride they're on. Really attach that emotion. And once you feel that emotion and are connected to it, you can connect with it anywhere. You can be walking down the mall and just be like, oh, I'm in Disneyland right now, connected to that emotion. And the more that you connect to that emotion, the more you draw it to you, and the next thing you know, you're on a flight with those kids and you're going to Disneyland because you created it with your thoughts and your consistency. So we're going into a new month, which always excites me. Lots of new opportunities for blessings and beginnings. So think about what action steps you can start right now to mastering your psychology around money. And don't be worried about starting, be worried about not starting. Doesn't that make more sense? And I just want to share one last slide with you. We can't solve problems by using the same kind of thinking that we used when we created those problems. That's another great Einstein quote, and doesn't that make sense to you? Right? We have to change our thinking if we want to change the result. And I just love this picture. First of all, I'm a crazy cat lady. But look at that cute little kitty. And maybe that cute little kitty, the little teeny tiny one, maybe that's your bank account with $7.42 in it right now. But looking back at you is the ferocious lion. It's all of those funds you need to take those kids to Disneyland or whatever your goal is. Know that it is there. It is reflecting back to you. Believe it and practice it consistently, and you will have everything that you want in your life regarding money. But the key is to keep going, keep going, keep going. So I want to just remind you that I'm at booth number 304. I'm happy to hang out with you after as well. And thank you so, so much for coming to my talk today. I really appreciate having you here. And remember that you can change your thoughts and change your life. Thank you. Thank you.